Hey guys, Jose here, and I'm going to be doing my first ever game review. Today I'm going to be looking at the game Disc County.
Hello, dear. It's your Aunt Tella. Remember visiting my shop when you were little? Things aren't like they used to be, but I know city life.
This is from Crinkle Cut Games, and it seems to be their first initial game that they have released. So, what is this game about? Well, looking at the tags, it is a supermarket manager sim kind of game. It does have elements of a cozy day-by-day kind of game, similar to many others that we've seen before. And, it has the kind of pixelated aesthetic and art style that you come to see from games like Stardew Valley and others of that kind of style. So, what is the story of Disc County? Well, you start off creating your own character, and you essentially get a call from your aunt, who's named Teller, who is asking for you to come to her town, the town of Blomkest, to help her out with a store that she owns. Beyond that, you really don't get anything else as like the initial oh, this is what's going on, but you travel nonetheless. You arrive at the town and you meet a group of eccentric neighbors and townspeople that have their own kind of ideals and drama, interpersonal drama in between them all. And you come to find out that your aunt has bought a supermarket franchise chain called Disc County. Kind of put the title of the game into the game itself. So Disc County is a franchise chain supermarket, and many of the townspeople don't like it. They're very happy having their small town kind of exist within itself, have its own ecosystem, and they're afraid that by introducing a chain store, more chain stores are going to come in. Well, nothing you can do about it. You're just a worker, and your responsibility is to manage that store. What does that entail? Well, you have to clean the floors, you have to stock the shelves, you actually have to find and purchase shelves as well, and put them in with all the merchandise that you have to order. It's your job to maintain the store and make it a success. That is essentially the key points of this game. How the game kind of works is that you have to, day by day, make sure the store is functional and have the townspeople be happy, be able to find and supply the produce and merchandise that they are looking for, and have them come in and out the store in a quick and timely manner. You are under a clock that only allows you to have the store open so many hours, and you're trying to get as many customers in and out and make as much as you can. The game is kind of fun because it also introduces a mechanic where you can speak to different townspeople that have their own kind of trade agreement with. So you make agreements with a local fisherman, a farmer, an owner of a kind of like a fish stick or a fish processing factory, and an owner of another factory. And they are all able to supply you with different materials, from fish sticks to fresh caught fish, to water bottles, to straws, to cleaning products, a whole array of different things. As you progress through the story, you also kind of find out little dramas that are happening within the town, and it kind of falls on you as the new guy to kind of try and solve all the situations, because they see you as either impartial or the cause of these problems. So the game kind of goes in that direction. Style-wise, this game is in a pixelated kind of art form, but the backgrounds look really well rendered. They have nice colors, nice depths, and the way that kind of transition from early morning to night looks really nice. The day-night cycle inside the game looks really cool. They have some weather, but not overly. It's not really like a defining factor in this game. And I will say that every NPC is individualized. They look different from each other, and they all have, different kinds of clothing. Along with that, all the merchandise that you're selling has its own unique style. The produce all looks like produce. I mean, you could tell a cabbage from an apple, and certain products. I mean, certain products will always look the same, like water bottles and soda cans or energy drink cans all kind of have the same kind of look. But, I mean, it's kind of nice. You fall into a routine of managing the store and then progressively upgrading the store itself. You can add different floorings, you can add different colors to the walls, you can change the whole layout of the store itself. And you kind of want to, as the game kind of focuses on how certain aspects are wanting to be sold. By that I mean that your trade agreements with the people in the town kind of hitch on you selling so many of their products. One example is a fisherman that sells you fresh caught fish, requires you to sell so many of one type of fish before he's able to give you a upgrade to like having more stock, a discount price in purchasing, and advertisement. Which is also a really key factor in this game, is that you have to be able to advertise your store and advertise the things that you're selling. So the heart of this game is the store. You want the store to be a success. You want to earn so much money, and that is based off of the produce or the merch or the cleaning supplies, household products, what have you. The things in the supermarket that are there is what the people need to purchase. And you kind of want to make a good store so people will come in and give you, money so you're able to purchase stuff for the store. Along the line, you also have little mini quests for each day. So you have what are essentially like discounty specific tasks that you have to do. So, like, you have to sell 8 apples. You have to sell 3 animal products, which can be cheese or eggs or milk, or you have to order so much of a certain product, and you have to clean up so many stains on the floor. And that's all a factor because the way the store looks ups the appeal of the items that you're selling. So it all kind of has that really kind of sim aspect to it, more so than a cozy aspect. I think a lot of people see this game or saw the trailers for this game and initially thought that it was more of a cozy game. It feels more like a store management game above everything else, because you're going off of the appeal of something opposed to like the where you position it, what you put next to it can also affect the appeal, because there are certain upgrades that you can purchase. You can purchase shelving units that can be either hold more of a certain product or up the appeal of a certain product. You can buy advertisement stands that can go behind your cabinets or shelving that will up the appeal of them and cause people to basically window shop and purchase more of a certain item. Along the lines, you also get quests within the town itself. Like, you have to talk to certain people, you have to figure out certain mysteries. There's an underlying tone of there's pollution and issues that are happening within the town that like kind of start to get blamed on you, but then you have to figure out why and then kind of solve it. So that all kind of exists within the game itself. So this game is on a square grid system. What I mean by that is everything kind of moves in a square pattern. So if you're like right in the center, then there's a block on top, block to the side, block in the corner. And that's how you kind of navigate. And your store exists in that grid, but the rest of the game also exists in that grid. You don't actually have to eat. There is no kind of food mechanic in there where you'll get tired or you'll overuse your stamina or anything like that. It's all about time. You have a clock in the top right corner that kind of tells you from the start of the day to the end of the day. You can't ever close your store because the store will automatically open every day, Monday through Saturday. The only time it will close is on Sunday. Along those same lines, the certain people that you have trade agreements with will only give you products on certain days. They'll restock. So if you use up all the stock of a certain item, it could be that you're going to end up having angry customers because they're going to come in wanting a certain item that you're probably sold out of, and you have to wait till that day in that week to purchase more. So it kind of pushes that. Now, granted, there are items in the store that you can purchase from it just looks like a UPS truck that you get delivered to your store so you can restock. So there's a lot of little management aspects to this game that you have to kind of go through. Along the lines of the upgrades that you can end up having in the game is you start off with a standard numeric pad cash register where you have to find how much an item costs and plug in the numbers and then add it up, get the appropriate amount of money, and then kind of pay the change and everything like that. You will eventually upgrade into a scanner that makes the game move a lot faster and kind of ups the skill level of the game. So that kind of is like the meat and bones of discounting. It is in all essence a very management styled game over everything else. There really isn't cozy aspects to it, and in a sense I think that's where it kind of falls through. I initially bought this game based off the trailers that were being shown on both YouTube and on Steam.
This is Blomkest Business Report. Locals have staged a boycott of the new Discounty supermarket, leaving its aisles nearly empty. Just weeks ago, an upstart out-of-towner rebuilt this failing shop into a thriving supermarket. Locals and commuters alike were lured in by its attractive displays and low prices, as it quickly became central to the local economy.
I was doing more business than ever selling a discounted, but I don't know, weird stuff started happening just as they showed up.
Others say the store's frequent expansion has gone too far and risks damaging the town's cultural heritage. Can Discounty find a way to meet protesters' demands? Or will they be forced to close so soon after opening? Stay tuned. Discounty is out now.
In both instances, you kind of see something that's moving at a faster pace than the actual game. And you also get more voice acting, which this game has none of. Everything is text-based, which I think can be fine. A text-based game is, okay. A lot of the games have that way. I mean, you have Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley. Most cozy games are more text-based than anything else. Where I think it would have done better is they have really nice looking art that they have for the cover of the game and they have for promotions of the game. If they would have used those as little standing avatars that appear on the bottom of the screen, similar to Hades, that have the text, it would have been great. Another issue is that there are a lot of minor bugs that I ran into while playing this game. There were interactive areas that I couldn't get into. There were areas that just made no sense. There's a mine in the top of the game that leads to nothing. There's abandoned vehicles. There's an abandoned factory. There's an abandoned barn that gives you about 3 or 4 lines of text regarding it, and then that's it. Nothing comes from it. there is a bar in town that supposedly that's where everybody meets. I never went there more than twice in the entire span of my run in the game. It felt like it was like the bar from Stardew Valley, where you can kind of play a game and kind of find stuff out and talk to people when you have chances to. This one doesn't do anything like that. You can talk to you essentially will talk to everybody you need to talk to in the center of town. You don't really have to go anywhere. I think the most that I had to travel to talk to people was to go up to one of the farms and one of the factories, where two of the people that I have trade agreements with are. Aside from them, I go to the docks to talk to the other two people, and that's it. There's a lot of little mini quests that are kind of there to help you move around town faster that I feel like were more of a struggle to get through, because they give you almost no help at all to figure them out. It literally says in the quest to talk to people in town, and you talk to almost all the people, and there's like one person out of everybody that you talk to that will give you some information, and it's not even that helpful. The game itself is very linear. It is a narrative story that you have to follow from one point to the other. It gives you almost no choices whatsoever in the game. I think essentially I only had, at the very end, a choice to make, and that was about it. The other ones you have to kind of just follow through however they're presenting it to you. There are some technical issues, like running in the game, because everything is sort of in a grid system. You can get jammed up in a corner and kind of get stuck. The other thing is the same button to initiate talking with an NPC is also the same button that you use to restock items. The problem is, if an NPC is too close to you, especially when you start getting people that work in your store, they will say the same line of text every time and stall out the game. And the clock still keeps moving forward. The menu system is a little blocky and kind of slow, and also not that useful. The maps don't allow you to move from one location to the other. They only show the area that you're in. You can't move to... There's essentially just 3 areas that you can go to in this game. There's the central town, there's the upper forest farm area. So in the upper forest, you can go to what is essentially a farm area and a factory area. And that's it. And in the lower section is just a dock. And that's the whole of the area. Personal gripe for me is that you get a very limited amount of items to kind of create your own personal avatar. Clothing options are limited, facial options, hat options, and body type options are very limited. You can kind of create a character, but really it's not that great, especially for like a pixelated system that you can essentially just add a lot of other stuff later on. They didn't. And there is no store to purchase anything like that. You are essentially just more focused on the job at hand. Again, I said it's more management than anything else. For me, and it's more of the way I can, like with my glasses and everything, and how I see some of the patterns for the store, gave me a headache, made it kind of hard to see, like when there's like grime or dirt on the floor that you have to clean up. So I just kind of kept it at the default colors, maybe changed the walls maybe once or twice. I think I changed it to a wood flooring, and that kind of worked for me, but I mean there's not a lot of options to really customize your store. And it feels very strange because the progression to getting upgrades for your store at times can be really quickly, really quick, and then at times can feel like a real long drag. The discounty tasks give you points that you can purchase more stuff for the supermarket, like more upgrades to yourself, upgrades to the stores, to what items you're selling. But that gets done relatively quickly. Within a couple of maybe 3 or 4 of those days of completing tasks, you have enough to almost get everything available. And then in between one tier of those items to the next tier, you will already have almost all the points needed to purchase everything else in the following tier. It kind of de-incentivizes you from doing the tasks or even looking into them. The same goes for some of the upgrades. It feels like some of the cabinetry that you need to like really add more produce or more product is kind of random, and you sometimes will get the cabinets that give you the most space, and sometimes you'll get the ones that give you the most appeal, and then sometimes you're just going to get stuff that you don't really need. They also don't really tell you how to how to get rid of items, or it's in a long stream of text. That's the other problem. You sometimes get a lot of text, and it's not broken apart in ways that makes it easier to kind of like ingest all that information. Personal gripe, I'm somebody that likes different types of music that kind of can play within like the game itself. It felt really repetitive after a while. Like after 4 hours of playing, you're hearing the same stuff over and over again, so it's just kind of repetitive. And it wasn't anything special, but it was like, okay, I'm hearing the same stuff. You can't even change the audios, like the music playing in your store, which I think would have been a bonus, because you can change the feeling of the store as it changes. The game is quick. I think most people were saying in reviews that I saw about 20 hours. I think I did mine a little bit longer than that, but even so, it was a pretty quick game, and it ends really abruptly. That's something I didn't really like. Some of the mechanical issues were still in like the in putting more product in and moving stuff around. You only get a limited space, so you have your inventory only allows you to, per section in your inventory, only allows you to have either 5 of an item that you're going to restock, or if you're moving furniture, just 1 item of furniture, and that's it. It's very limiting for the amount of space in your inventory that you are given, and it's not until almost halfway through the game where you're given extra space in your inventory. It takes much too long to be able to get more space in your inventory, I think. At a certain point, the game itself just stopped being fun. It stopped giving you like that feeling of, oh, I'm gonna be accomplishing tasks, or I'm gonna be doing stuff. It just felt repetitive. And that might be the nature of it, because even the devs like posted a video on Twitter talking.
Our game has gotten a couple of negative reviews from people who said it isn't actually wholesome. And on the one hand, I kind of get that, because Discounty is a satirical game that flips the typical cozy game story on its head. Your growing business might actually be hurting the town rather than saving it. The people are generally suspicious and sometimes unfriendly towards you, and the town itself is sort of run down and unidyllic. And we've tried to be really upfront about all of this, but of course people might just see the cute pixel art and the shop gameplay and have certain expectations based on that. But despite all of that, I really do think it fits in that genre, because it is ultimately lighthearted and funny and relaxing, and shows that it is possible to find your place in a new community. It just might not be easy. If you like,
and I kind of get what they're saying. They wanted to put the game, essentially they're saying that they want a satire of what you would consider a cozy game, or they're either trying to do a satire of what is a supermarket or capitalism or the day-to-day grind, and they're causing that to be the essentially what this game is about. My only problem is they could have said that in any of the trailers that they dropped for the game. I didn't see it. I saw it more of like, you're trying to make something work out of something that is challenging, because you see the trailers, and in the trailers themselves, it looks like you're trying to make something work, because you're like a worker trying to figure out how to make this store work for you. Nothing about it screams satire. And I think they could have said that earlier on, or could have talked about it, or put it anywhere. I mean, verbatim from their Steam description says right here: manage your own supermarket, get caught up in small town drama, organize and plan your shop's layout, and strike lucrative trade deals as you expand your secretive ant's business empire. Selling more frozen fries will surely heal this broken community, right? Nothing about that screams satire. I mean, yes, you have along that same line. This will probably be my final kind of gripe at it, because I don't want to be too negative about a game that is like might be fun for other people, but your aunt. You're living in a trailer in your aunt's backyard. There is a shack out there that you have no access to. There's no kind of way of figuring that out. Like, no essential way of knowing what that is about or how to get in. It just always says that it's locked. I just stopped caring at a certain point, and I just started working in the shop and just kind of going to the end. I might have missed a lot of stuff. One quest line that you take is you figure out that there's like a overpopulation of rats in the town, and by solving little mini quests for each little section, they'll open up pipelines that you can basically fast travel to different areas of the town itself, which was okay, but I kind of had to look online to find the answer to the last one, because there was like just nothing made a lot of sense to it. And at that point, I was already just kind of tired with it. I was like, dude, I have no idea what this is about. And you can't really solve them all in one go. You kind of have to progress the story a little bit. There is one section that I'm not going to spoil, because it kind of has to do with a lot of it, but I just didn't like it. You don't get a choice in how you handle the situation. You just have to follow your aunt's orders, and for me it just felt kind of bad. It has to do with Lemonade and like competing business, and the whole like plot line of that. I was like, dude, this is stupid. This is dumb. This has nothing to do with like being like, it doesn't give me an option to not do this. And I was like, dude, this is like the worst thing I can do to this one character. And I'm like, why am I doing that? I don't know. There's a lot of like unknown areas, kind of like a lot of broken plot lines too, that I was like, okay. Initially, I think I was giving this a 4.5. I'm gonna give it about a 5, like right down the middle. Because there's parts of the game that were okay. I mean, it could just fall into the fact that maybe it wasn't for me. Maybe I wasn't the right audience for it, or maybe you probably might like it. I couldn't tell you. I will say, since I pre-ordered it, it cost me like $34 to get, and I just didn't feel like I was playing a $34 game. Like, it was not worth the cost of a physical like cartridge for Switch. It felt overpriced at the end of it. I was like, I did get 20 hours of a game, but man, was that a tough 20 hours. And I felt like, oh geez, this is not worth the amount of money that I paid. I think currently right now you can get it for like $20 on Steam. I would suggest, if you want to play it on Steam. It might be your best option. I think you can get it cheaper digitally. Get that. I'm always a proponent for getting physical media. I think physical media is necessary, but even then, for the cost of this game, just go digital. I don't see it having the biggest point. I don't know if I'll ever play it again, but again, I'm saying it could have just not been for me. It could be your cup of tea. You might like it. But that is my review for Discounty. Could it have been better? Yes. Is it the worst game I've ever played? No. I think it has a lot of good ideas that it was going to. It just didn't execute them well. And I'm hoping that the dev team has been doing some fixes. Like I said, I got the Switch one, and the Switch one was the buggiest. Within the first week or so of release, they were saying that they had to drop a patch to fix certain areas because there's certain interactions that weren't working. So they were able to do that. So they are a very attentive dev team. I see them all the time on Twitter. They answer questions. They talk about a lot of stuff. So I have hope. I mean, I don't think you can always like be harsh on them. If they're able to at least own up and start fixing stuff, it could be better. But for me, at this point, I'm sticking to it as a 5 out of 10. So until next time, I'm Jose, and I will see you on the next one.